Hey, my name is Val, and welcome to the Dairy Hour podcast, where the future of farming isn't just in our fields, it's in our voices. Pull up a chair, friend. Let's share the story of agriculture, one voice at a time. Are you tired of farm gear that just doesn't keep up with your daily grind? Let me introduce you to my favorite find, the waterproof bibs from 4D Ag Fashion. These bibs are built by farmers for farmers, designed to handle the mud, the mess, and everything in between, all while keeping you dry and comfy. They are lightweight, breathable, and so much fun, coming in so many different colors from cow print, camo, teal, pink, purple, navy, green, and maroon. Whether you're working in the parlor, the barn, or tackling chores in the rain, these bibs are a total game changer. You can grab your pair at 4dagfashion.com. That's the number 4, the letter D, agfashion.com. Trust me, once you wear them, you won't want to chore in anything else. Oh, and for the month of June, free shipping for Dairy Month. Everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the Dairy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Val Lavigne, and I'm joined today by Emily Matzke. Emily, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, even though I'm jealous that you said you have sunny and 75 and we are still raining and still raining and still raining.
Hopefully the sunny and 75 comes to you soon.
Yes, send it our way from Wisconsin, and if it could stay a while, that'd be super. Except I'm not holding out hope this year. So for those of you that don't know who you are, do you want to kind of give us who are you, Emily?
Yeah, so on Instagram, social media, I go by Your Farmer Friend. So I like to share a lot about connecting people back to agriculture just through sharing my own personal life, because we farm, but I also am very much I love fashion. I love doing my makeup. I love even wearing cute clothes to the farm sometimes. I do yoga, I work out, all these other things that make me me as well as farming. So I like to connect with people that way. My fiance, soon to be husband's family has farmed our family farm that I guess I can call it our family farm now because I'm marrying him. They've farmed the same land for 160 years, so since 1865. We also share our farm story on YouTube with New Age Custom Farming, it's called. So we do cash crops, corns, soybeans, wheat, alfalfa, and then we custom chop forages for dairy farms in our area. And I guess I like to say for our farm, since this is the Dairy Hour, we do everything but milk cows on our farms. But they used to milk cows up until 1997. Still our tie stall barn is still standing on the farm. We just don't use it for anything. And then, like I said, now we do everything but milk cows. So we work with dairies, we custom raise heifers, we buy bull calves and raise them, we chop, but we just don't milk.
So about how many calves are you raising right now?
Oh gosh. We buy the bull calves from a dairy farm that we work with every week. So they're about a week old. And then we have probably around 60 in our calf barn right now. But then for the heifers that we custom raise, we don't get them until they're weaned. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure how many we have. Quite a bit.
Lots of them out there.
Lots of them, yes.
And I love how you say we do everything but milk cows. We do all the feed. That's awesome. And, it definitely gives people a really tuned in focus on seeing all the other things, because, I know I also struggle to share online about we have the dairy cows and we have these cute calves, but I do a really cruddy job of sharing the in-between. So this is my friendly reminder. Hey, I got to start sharing a little bit more about those teenagers. So yep. Awesome. So, and by the way, we need to get the details. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
When's the end of September. So right in the middle of chopping corn.
Yes, because that's when all people need to get married. And I did the same thing with my husband. So I feel you. Well, September's a good month.
Yes, here's the thing is there's no good time necessarily as a farm family to get married besides winter, and I refuse to have a winter wedding. And I was thinking of the timeline of our growing season. When is it easier to flex a few days and it's harvest? So that's why we want that.
That works. September's a good month to get married. So congratulations. That's really exciting. So I don't know if we want to kick it back and talk about you growing up before you obviously came to your fiance's farm?
Yes, so I should turn off the volume. Sorry, my
You're good.
phone is just going off. Apparently a popular person this morning. So ask the question again.
Yep, you're good. So back, I want to back up and talk about you growing up and kind of how you ended up
Yes.
where you are.
Yes, perfect. I can yap about this for a long time. So, I actually did not grow up on a farm. I did not grow up in agriculture myself. My grandparents had a dairy farm, just as I feel like every Wisconsin kid has somebody in their family who dairy farmed at some point in their life. And when I was growing up, my cousins and I, so I have two other girl cousins that are my same age, and we would run around the farm together. My grandpa would call us his boys because we were just little tomboys running around the farm. We would ride the four-wheelers, help my grandma feed calves, run up and down the alleyway, all that stuff. But then when I was in third grade, I believe, my grandpa had a heart attack and passed away. And so then my family made the decision to sell the cows. And so I kind of lost that actual tangible touch to agriculture and being able to go to a farm. Luckily, my mom did sign me up for 4-H, and so I got to actually experience showing some cattle when I was younger. I was not good at it at all, but I experienced
Neither was
it.
I. It's fine.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't remember a ton of it. I just know that I quit after a few years because I was just not very good at it. But then I joined FFA when I was in high school, and I would say that's really kind of where I had the light bulb moment that I really enjoy agriculture and being a part of it. I transparently joined FFA and signed up for ag classes because I knew you got to get out of out of classes because of going on field trips. So that's how I got started with it. But I really fell in love with being involved in like our fourth grade Food for America field trip, and we would go out to a dairy farm and teach kids about the dairy farm and stuff like that. And so then I went to UW-Madison to study animal science and do the ag business track because I was really, really terrible at chemistry. So that kind of knocked any dreams of doing anything vet school related. But then I also, because I really enjoy talking about agriculture, at UW-Madison, they have a degree called Life Sciences Communication, which is their version of agriculture journalism. So I double majored in animal science and life sciences communication so that I could not only understand like the science and everything behind agriculture and animal science, but also how to communicate it effectively. And so then that's kind of also how I integrated back into agriculture. At the time in college too, I started then dating my now fiance, and so got integrated into their farm just because of being with him. Graduated college, and then I worked at Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, or our Wisconsin Milk Marketing Board, for a few years doing social media in the consumer trust space. And then I just really wanted to be on the farm more often, so we tried to figure out how to make that happen. So I started doing freelance work. And then now, because of our YouTube channel, I still have a few clients, but I'm primarily just now able to be at the farm, creating content, helping on the farm, being the parts gopher, the farm Uber, all that stuff, and then sharing it online.
We can call that secretary. Like that's like the nice way of saying, hey, I do whatever you tell me to do, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Whatever needs to be
much.
done. Awesome. And, what kind of experiences did you gain? You said you worked for Dairy Farmers Wisconsin for a little while. What kind of experiences did that bring you? And, how did that become like your thing as far as sharing online?
Yeah, so when I worked for Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, I worked in the consumer trust space, like I said, when it comes to sharing about dairy within our state. So Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin, for anyone who may not be familiar, they have kind of their national facing stuff, which is Wisconsin cheese, promoting these 600 types, varieties, and styles that Wisconsin makes for cheese, which it still is my goal to try all 600. I am nowhere near making it.
There's worse life goals to have than trying 600 types of cheese. So
right.
Sounds like a good goal.
But then I worked on the brand that was more focused on within the state, and again, sharing on social media about dairy to help consumers get a better understanding of Wisconsin dairy. And I guess I would say too, before I had that job, I was still kind of dabbling in sharing online about agriculture. I mean, I was not like doing it full blown anything, but I would randomly make posts that was talking about agriculture. I believe I started my first website or blog for myself when I was still in high school. I hope the URL is not still out there because I'm sure it's just embarrassing to look at. But I always wanted to somehow find a way to use social media or use me as a person to share about agriculture with people, because I think, especially with my own story too, I didn't grow up on a farm, but because of experiences and being exposed to it, that's how I fell in love with it. And I hope that by sharing about it with people who may not be involved in agriculture themselves, that they're able to at least, I mean, maybe they're not going to become a farmer like I am now, but at least they'll gain a better understanding and appreciation for it. So I think even though it was my corporate career for a while, I think I still would have found it somehow of being able to do it. It definitely helped having the corporate career of, at least understanding a lot of the key messages that resonate with consumers and identifying different ways to share the story of agriculture with people.
Yeah, awesome. And, so fast forwarding to going back to the farm, or headed to your now fiance's farm, what did that transition look like, and how did you guys go about finding you that spot on the farm?
To be honest, it came down to Avery sitting me down and being like, "You're miserable sitting at a desk all day. I know you're miserable. I don't like coming home to you miserable all the time. Let's just figure it out." And so I was like, "Okay, well, if you're on board of letting me figure it out, then that's what we're gonna do." I'm definitely not somebody who's meant to sit at a computer all day,
Hmm.
for sure. And so I had some people that I had known had like reached out to me at different times to help with different things. So I was like, well, let me reach out to them, see if they're interested in me doing some work for them. And then I would say my role on the farm has kind of just progressed differently. So I started working in our grain facility the fall. So I left my corporate job in springtime, May-ish. And then I did a lot of just freelance stuff that summer. I also hosted my first farm camp that summer. So that was also part of my push of like, let's just quit and do it because we're going to figure it out. Oh, maybe I hosted farm camp the summer after. Either way, I did freelance. I don't know. Timeline's screwing me up. I did a lot of freelance stuff, picked up a lot, said yes to way too many projects, but I was like, I need to figure this out. I need to still make money. And then in the fall, I worked in our grain facility. And then I had always kind of helped in our calf barn sporadically as needed, helping clean it, helping when we get new calves every week. But now I'm definitely in there more than I was in the past. And then we started in the spring. They were like, "Hey, do you want to learn how to drive a tractor?" And I was like, "I guess." And so I started.
Do I have a choice?
Yeah, pretty much. And so then I started helping with planting. So I got to drill a bunch of our soybeans into the ground. And then, like I said, now I'm also in the calf barn every single day doing a majority of the stuff in there. It's Avery's cousin is the main cattle guy on our farm. So it's him and I together, but I'm in there every single day cleaning because we have an auto feeder. Cleaning, checking on the calves, making sure it's full of milk, making sure they have grain, a lot of cleaning because that's what you have to do with an auto feeder.
Yes. And with lots of little calves,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yep.
Awesome. So you also mentioned how fitness is one of your passions and doing yoga, things like that. How did that become like a bigger part of your life? At what point did you kind of embrace that and really push into it?
Yeah, I started doing yoga back when I was still in college, and then we have a really great yoga studio in our town, so I'm very thankful for that. And it's actually pretty much just like almost on the road that I live on, so it's very easy to get to, which is really nice. And I've found like yoga is just very, very grounding for me, and it helps me kind of get out of my head a lot. And then I also definitely started having more of a focus on fitness and making sure that I'm very active when I was in college too. And it just kind of stuck with me. And I mean, I was actually having this conversation with Avery the other night of at this point, it's just like a part of my routine to work out every day of some sort, whether it's lifting weights in my basement gym that I built myself that looks like I'm definitely in a farmhouse basement because I am, or running outside. I like to run a lot in the summer with my dog, but I'm a much better person when I am moving my body. My head's clearer, I can think better, I'm able to get more stuff done. And so it's just become just a part of my routine. I'm very disciplined about it, I would say, because like I said, I just know I'm a better person when I do. I just use free workout videos on YouTube to structure my workouts because I don't want to take the mental energy of coming up with them myself or going to yoga in town, but it just helps me become a much better person.
Definitely. And, you know, you said at this point it's just kind of part of your normal routine, but was there ever a time when, you know, you really had to work to make time to do it, where it was like a struggle where you had to overcome and be like, okay, no, I need this time to work out? You know, what was your driving factor to keep going with it and make it part of that routine?
Honestly, because the YouTube person that I follow, her name is Sydney Cummings. She posts new videos every day. Well, now she posts it 5 days a week. Actually, well, she just had a baby, so it's like old videos now of hers that I'm doing, but she posts new videos every day. And honestly, her posting a new video every day was my motivation because I was like, oh, I need to do her new video. I need to do her new workout. And so I think that actually really helped me become motivated because you see this person online who's putting herself out there, creating a new workout for somebody. She's able to do it while filming it, while creating videos about it. And then because she was very consistent with that, then I wanted to be consistent because again, she's putting out free workout videos. You don't have to pay for
Yep.
them. The only thing I have to pay for is having dumbbells that, you know, I bought conveniently right before the world shut down. And so they were still cheaper at that point.
Yep.
And then
Before everybody else needed them.
yeah, literally like a month before that, I was so thankful that I did that. I didn't have the foreshadowing. I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna buy these. They're cheap right now. And I did. But yeah, she, like I said, she's putting out free workouts. You don't have to pay for them, but she's putting herself out there. I can do it too. It's kind of my motivation. And then I think just as I've progressed with understanding more about health, fitness, whatever, I know that rest days are important, but I'm still
Yeah.
active on them. And yeah, it's become such a like integral part of my life that I feel like it's almost harder for me to not be active in a day or not work out in a day.
Yeah, it's like a sense of like I am getting finally to that point where when I don't, which I go to a gym because I don't have that like I don't have a farmhouse basement to, you know, make myself my own little gym, but I need the like people around me, so that's just what works for me and I go to a gym. But it's funny because I have gone so consistently that when I have days that I don't go, it's just like you almost don't know what to do with yourself. You're just like I feel like I need that and crave that. So,
Yep.
yes, I
Yeah.
completely get what you're saying.
And on the subject too of like going to a gym and stuff, at our yoga studio, every Monday they have a Tabata class at noon, which if I can fit it into my schedule, I like to go because I would say I push myself a little bit more when I'm in like that
Mm,
class experience because I'm like, ooh, I want to like be doing more reps than this person or jumping
yep.
higher, all that stuff. But I do really enjoy having the ability to just go to my basement and crank it out and be done with it.
Yes. My home workouts ended. I'll do stretch workouts at home on rest days, but my home workouts ended before I ended up signing up for this gym when I had this good old Jillian Michaels DVD and I popped her into the DVD player and I was kind of planning on going to this gym, but I was like, we're going to work out with Jillian a few times and like get my body moving, make it normal.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there on the floor dying, like fighting for my life, breathing so heavy. And the kids are all sitting on the couch watching me. And Jillian's on the TV going, don't give up, keep going. You're doing this for you. Like, keep going. And one of my twins looked deadpan at me and goes, Mom, she said don't stop.
Gosh.
And
You're
I was
like,
like,
you
yep.
need to get your hiney out here and work out with me too.
I was like, and the workouts at home stop here. Like,
Yep.
no, this is not gonna. I mean,
That's
I'm happy
funny.
that they were pushing me, but I'm like, I'm literally dying. She said, don't stop. Like, I'm sorry, I literally can't breathe. Children, they're
That's
ruthless.
hilarious. Yeah.
Oh dear. And one of my new favorite things to see you do on social media is the good old you always are cooking steak and some kind of beef and doing the things. Have you always had a knack for cooking? Is that something that you've kind of, you know, flexed into in the recent years?
I mean, I'm definitely much a foodie. I really enjoy eating good food and stuff. The reason I started sharing more about it online, so we sell our beef direct to consumer just within our local community. And I needed a way to promote our beef, but then this way I have content for my social, like my media that goes to everyone, and then also for my beef page. So it's kind of serves as a dual purpose. But I, like back in college, I had this like mini grill thing. It was literally probably about like this big that I would grill for my roommates and I on, and we would always have me as like the grill dad out there and stuff. And so I've definitely always been involved in cooking like steak and stuff, but I also like I want people to realize, and the reason I shared is I want people to realize that like cooking steak and cooking beef is not really that difficult. There's a lot of recipes you can make with it, a lot of easy recipes. And so I want people to understand that, it's not this scary thing to make. It's really easy.
As a busy mom and dairy farmer, I'm always looking for ways to support my family's health as well as my own, and I absolutely love Wonder Cow Colostrum. It's packed with essential nutrients, great for supporting gut health, boosts immunity, and promotes overall wellness. Whether it's for me, my kids, or anyone looking to stay strong and healthy, Wonder Cow is my go-to daily supplement. I've been taking it for a year now, and it is irreplaceable in my daily routine. If you want to experience the amazing benefits of colostrum too, you can use my special code, DairyGalVal, at checkout for a discount. Give Wonder Cow a try, and you will definitely feel the difference. Hey, Dairy Hour listeners, if you're enjoying this show, leaving a review is the best way to help us grow and reach more people. Plus, I've got a little thank you for you. Snap a screenshot of your review, message it to me at DairyGalVal, and I will be sure to send some fun Dairy Hour stickers your way. Thanks for supporting the podcast, and I cannot wait to mail you some swag. I could have used you in college because I am not a grill dad, and I really stink at grilling, and grills intimidate me. But I also am not huge on cooking. I like to eat, not to cook. Thankfully, I'm married well, and he is an excellent grill dad. So
Perfect.
He takes care of me, thankfully, because we do eat beef like multiple times a week because why not, right?
Right. We have like pictures from college of us sitting in lawn chairs outside, sitting around the grill with like a carbless or something in our hands, some form of a drink, watching the grill, and it's just actually us college girls doing it.
And you're actually cul-de-sac dads.
Yeah.
But in college as college girls. Yes, I love that. That's funny. Did you teach the rest of the girls to grill so that they were equipped for life, or?
I think they all know how to grill now.
If not, they better figure it out.
Yeah, or some of them, their husbands I know are good grillers, so they're at least eating good.
They did the good match for marrying. Either I learned to grill or the guy I married learns to grill, and life is good. Because you got to have a grill person. And that's people, absolutely. We always are grilling, and my husband is always grilling. He'd be mad if I said we, because it's not me. But we grill, like, even in upstate New York, we're grilling like all year round. I mean, there's no storm, he's out there on the grill, and I'm like, go for it. Yep. We also have one of those small houses, and you boil water on the stove, and all the smoke detectors are going off. So searing
is easier to.
Yes, and searing steaks in a cast iron pan is a surefire recipe for smoke detectors for large amounts of times. Can't be having outside we go. And I guess talking more about your sharing online and doing things, you have always done it, but you really started leaning into it coming off of your corporate job. And, do you want to kind of talk about how that's built and all the different things that you've done with that?
I mean, it's definitely like a very evolving situation still. I shouldn't say I've always had, but since I started doing it, I've always wanted to focus on, yes, I'm a farmer. Yes, I share about agriculture. Yes, I have this knowledge that I want to share with people. But I also understand that the people I'm trying to reach are girls my age, people like me, but that maybe aren't involved in agriculture. And I know that to reach those people and to connect with those people, it's not to just be spewing facts about agriculture online. It's to be sharing all of the other things, like I mentioned earlier, and then slipping in. But I am also going to the farm, but I'm also with calves all the time. I'm heatless curling my hair, and then I'm going to the farm. And I'm doing my makeup, but I'm going to the farm, or I'm going from the farm and going to like a nice restaurant and stuff. So I've always kind of had that in mind of how and what I share, but it's definitely evolved of as social media has evolved, of how it's being
Yeah.
shared, what I do. And yeah, I literally was sitting down with one of my friends the other day, like chatting about just like what I all want to do moving forward and what I want to share and different things to kind of have on my list of things to share about this summer. Because like I said earlier, I host farm camp. So I have farm camp coming up and I want to share about that. But what's the best way to share about that? Because I'm not going to share people's kids' faces on my
Yeah.
social media. As tractor pulling, how do I integrate tractor pulling when I'm also showing like my girly girl side? And again, more sharing more grilling recipes and like food stuff. So how do I kind of fit all of that into me and my social media and what I share?
Yeah, definitely. And it is a constantly evolving thing. And I feel like it's one of those things you think you figure it out and then it goes over here and then you got to figure it out over here and back over here it goes. So I definitely get that. And, do you kind of want to talk about farm camp and how you guys run that on the farm, where the idea came from and all the fun
There's
stuff?
there's another farm, probably like 2 hours away from me who has done farm camps before, and I've always seen their stuff. And I love sharing about agriculture online, but I really truly love sharing about it with kids. Actually, when I was in college at first, I was saying how I wish my job could be being an agriculture teacher for elementary age kids. And I just think, like, for me, that was my more formative years of understanding my appreciation for agriculture. And so my hope was that I can provide that to somebody else. Like I said, if they may not become a farmer, but at least they have the opportunity to learn about it, because I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't have the opportunity to learn about it either. And so I had been thinking about it for a little bit, but I'm like, you know what? Screw it. There's a F word, not screw it, but I
Yeah,
was like,
I gotcha.
I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna see what happens. Well, I created a quick little like landing page to share about it, posted it, and then I like put my computer away and I'm like, I'm not gonna look at this. Like, we'll just see what happened. And then it was actually, we were visiting Avery's grandparents in Florida at the time. And I then didn't look at my computer until the next afternoon, and I already had like 15 signups. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, okay, this is real. People are entrusting me to do this for their kids and stuff. Like, and I was blown away that I had that many people interested in stuff. And yeah, I just, like I said, I really love providing opportunities to kids, because I think, especially, yes, I live in a somewhat small farming community, but there's also a ton of people that I know aren't involved in agriculture. And so I want them to have the chance to learn about it. This will be our third summer, this upcoming summer, that we've done it. We had some kids, this one kid who this summer, he'll have come 6 or 7 times to farm camp. He just loves it. I already say, like, as soon as you can drive, you're working for us. You've got a job.
Come on, we've got a job for you.
Yeah, yeah, but the kids love it. I have a lot of repeat campers. I love it. It's a very exhausting week, but
Yes.
it's really fun just to see the confidence in the kids from the first day of them like walking into the calf barn, and they like walking around gingerly, like not really sure what's going on. And then by the end of the week, like they're very confident walking around the animals. They give a tour to the parents at the end of the week of showing what they all learned to them. And it's interesting to hear the random things that they remember about different parts of the farm. So it's
Yeah.
really rewarding to see them have that experience.
That's really awesome. And I'm sure that that's stuff that they're going to take with them through the rest of their life. And, it's a really great positive touch point on agriculture where, they're getting that positive experience. They're out there, they're actually seeing the animals, seeing the great care that's taken of the animals and just getting those experiences. And, how many kids on average are you wrangling for the week? And are you doing it alone? Do you have help? Is there support on the farm for what you're doing?
There's usually around 15 to 20 kids. I'll allow up to 30. Our biggest farm camp, I think there's 25 kids at. And then it's for adults, me, and then my mom and grandma both help out, which is really fantastic. My mom was an elementary school physical education teacher, so she's really good at helping with the kids that way.
She's like, all right, kids, let's do some jumping jacks.
Yeah, let's get some energy out. And then I have a few high school kids that I'll reach out to and ask if they want to help out, because it helps for like volunteer hours for different things that they have and everything as well. So Definitely not just a one-woman show. And then the boys are always busy during farm camp because we're either usually chopping, spraying, stuff like that. But they'll always take at least part of the morning to show the kids the big equipment on the first day and then talk about crops too with them.
And I'm sure that's also a big hit, especially with the little boys seeing the big tractors and all the things. So
Yep. So when we're doing hay, we have two choppers, but we're usually only using one chopper. So then we leave the other one parked over there by where our farm camp stuff is. And I think I could literally leave the kids there for an entire morning or entire afternoon and they would just play around it. We lock the door so they can't go into it, but like they just
yes.
love climbing around it, checking out different things, all the things.
Awesome. I love it. That's really great. And it's, really awesome to hear the different ways that you're kind of getting those touch points in teaching people about agriculture and, raising that next generation to grow up and have a positive viewpoint of agriculture and dairy in general. Definitely something that those kids are going to remember all their lives and really value those experiences. So great. I want to move on to some fun rapid fire questions because it's just fun to get to know a little bit more about you.
Yes.
So you're Wisconsin. So I have to ask you the most rapid fire Wisconsin question ever. Cheese curds, fried or squeaky?
Squeaky.
She knew. So I like the people that are sitting there and they're like, you're going to make me choose. Like,
I mean, we definitely eat more fried cheese curds, but I like if you can get it. So we have a cheesemaker like somewhat close to us. It's called Car Valley Cheese, and they make their cheese curds and deliver it to local gas stations every Wednesday is when their fresh cheese curds are out. And it's so nice. Like you get a bag that they're not cold, they're still warm, and you can just have that fresh squeak right away. That's my favorite, but we definitely eat more fried curds, but the experience of fresh is better.
Yes, there is definitely something to be said about a good squeaky fresh cheese curd. Favorite cut of steak?
Ooh,
She's like, now this is hard. It's like choosing between your
tough question. So New York strip if I'm cooking it at our house, but if I'm out at a restaurant, a tenderloin. Like a little fillet.
Yep, fillet.
We also get those too that we have here, but at our house, but they're cut a little bit thinner than I would like sometimes. Yep. And so I prefer the New York strip at our house because it's a good thick steak that I can get a good crust on. But at a restaurant, the fillets.
Now, what do you think is the most underrated cut of beef? So one of those cuts where people just like, but you can make it awesome.
I can't make it awesome myself. I guess I haven't tried to make it myself, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of it. It's like picana is how you say it. Oh, yeah. And I had it at a Brazilian steakhouse place where they like walk around and they'll like cut it off for you.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like the thick fat cap on it. And it was so freaking good.
It's delicious.
If there's a way that I need to figure out how to recreate that at home.
Yes.
But a lot of places don't do that cut for you. Or if you want that cut, you'd have to request it from your butcher or processor. And so I don't request that. But if I did.
That is a very good cut of beef. We end up eating because I usually all of my good cuts always get sold right away. So I don't ever get to eat your T-bones and your porters and your ribeyes. I don't ever get to eat those from our steers, but we get a lot of skirt steaks, flank steaks. We eat those all the time.
I do love a good flank steak too. I make a recipe that's like diced sweet potatoes and then your flank steak with some chimichurri on it. It's so good. With like really thick, flaky salt.
Yeah.
Delicious.
The finishing salt is, amazing. Gosh, now I'm hungry. We're recording this in the morning, and now I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, need me a steak these days. So I know what I'm having for dinner tonight because now after this conversation, that's all I'm going to want. So
yeah.
We're going to make it happen. That's for sure. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Okay. It depends where I'm going.
I'm the same way, so you're good.
If I am going so I used to work at a creamery called Sassy Cow Creamery. My absolute favorite flavor that they make is s'mores, which I think they don't even make my original s'mores anymore. I think they only make peanut butter s'mores. I need to ask them about that because I want some of it. I've like been thinking about it the last several weeks. So from them, s'mores, and then we have a ferry near us, and so there's an ice cream stand on each side of it. I only go to the one side, which I can share that story if you'd like. But
Yeah,
I
go
only
for
go
it.
to the one side, and they have Chocolate Shop ice cream, which is a very popular ice cream brand or company here in Wisconsin, and I get the cotton candy ice cream from them. And that's my favorite from them.
So why do you only go to the one side?
So I'm beefing with the other side.
Uh-oh.
So several years ago, we would go to the other side and they have a different ice cream brand, and he would always this ice cream brand, I'm not going to say who they are, but they have like multiple Blue Moon flavors. So they have
Mhm.
like the regular Blue Moon, and then they have like Blue Moon with Oreos, and then they have Blue Moon with other things. Well, he had like 4 different versions of Blue Moon on the menu. And I know this ice cream company makes cotton candy, and I love cotton candy flavored ice cream. And so I asked the guy, I was like, hey, mind you, I'm also coming from, I worked at an ice cream place for a while, and I worked in the dairy industry. So like I know a lot about the ice cream brand that he was selling, and I just know like what flavors people gravitate towards.
Yes.
And so I was like, hey, I see you have a lot of Blue Moon flavors, which are all great kids flavors. Another great kids flavor is cotton candy. Is there any way you could try and get that in stock? Because like that flavor, and I know other people do too. And he refused to get it. And I was like, dude, you have a customer asking you for a flavor that, and you also again have 4 different versions of Blue Moon. If a kid doesn't like Blue Moon, they're not gonna like any of the kids flavors you have. So Avery literally like almost had to drag me away because I wasn't like being mean, but I was like, hey,
This guy over this cotton candy ice cream.
I'm like, I have like a genuine like reason to be asking for it, and I have the knowledge to say that like people will buy this flavor. Well, you'll go over to the other side another time, and I asked the owner who was working, he's like the owner is the one who typically is scooping ice cream. And I asked him, hey, is there any way you could get cotton candy? The next week he had it for me. And I said, and you will be getting the rest of my business.
Yes. So if your customer, especially Emily, asks you for a specific flavor of ice cream, you have to get that specific flavor of ice cream.
Well,
Yes.
and yes, I wasn't trying to be like demanding, but I'm like, buddy, if a kid doesn't like Blue Moon and that's the only kids flavor you have, like you're missing out on even get like Superman or something else. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was being a little
What is Blue Moon?
Blue Moon is like it tastes like Fruit Loops.
We don't have that in New York, so
Really?
yeah, that's why I was trying to figure out what Blue Moon meant.
Oh, it's literally blue ice cream and it tastes like
Okay.
Fruit Loops.
Oh,
Like it's fine. You know, kids are picky. Sometimes if they don't like that, or if I don't know. Anyways, cotton candy is a good kid's flavor, and I'm not saying he had to have it on his menu the entire time, but like,
but for the love of God, man, get me the cotton candy.
yeah. And like the other side now that gets it, like he sells out of the cotton candy. Like last week I went and he was like, Emily, I'm so sorry. I just sold out of it. I don't have any for you. And I got a different flavor, which was completely fine. But I just want to go to the other
Effort was
side
there.
and be like, he listened to me and now he sells out of the flavor. What about
Maybe you should have taken my advice. Oh my gosh, I love that. Cats or dogs?
well, if you look at my Instagram stories, we have 2 cats now that they're not supposed to be inside, but they're inside right now. So I got my dog Bree when I was graduating college. She's named after the cheese, so Bree like the cheese. And I'm definitely, I would say, more of a dog person. However, we had a farm cat that had kittens, and then now 2 of them are here at our house.
Two of them have
Outside.
adopted you.
Yeah. They have a sister that is still at the farm that is definitely way more feral than these 2 are, but these ones are very friendly. And they were in our calf barn, but then we took them out of our calf barn because they were like crawling over the nipples and stuff. And we're like, this is just probably not good for calf health. And so then I was like, well, let's just take them to our house. And so that's
And what does Avery think of the new additions?
well, they were not supposed to be in the house, but I was kind of letting them in the house when he wasn't here for a while. And then I can't remember what happened. I was like in the shower or something, and I opened the door after he came home, and the cats were just like outside the bathroom door. And I said, huh, there's a cat in here. And he had just let them in because I think he got more attached to them than he expected. He still doesn't like that. Like, what he doesn't like if they lay on our bed and things like that, which he's allergic to cats. So I guess we don't blame him. But
Yeah, I mean, He has a good reason at least.
Yeah.
Your favorite music genre to work out to?
I don't listen to music when I work out because the YouTube videos she's always like has background music, but when I go to the Tabata class we listen to like early 2000s music and like I have a playlist called Grinding in a Sweaty High School Cafeteria that I listen to that has really good music on it.
Sounds like my kind of playlist.
It's really good. I also ride horses, and in our indoor arena, our lights are also a speaker. And so then we connect like that playlist, and we're just like out there jumping around, jumping our horses, listening to that type of music.
I love it. And I that was one of the things I was going to ask you about. When did you get into horses? I too am also into horses, but not
A
the
horse
same
girl.
type. Not, no, I'm a farm
You're
girl that rides horses.
okay. That's how I view myself too, because even when we go to shows and things, we like don't associate with other horse people because like the shows that we go to, so we live about an hour from so I do jumpers where you just go really fast and jump over sticks and call it good. But the shows that we go to are kind of near Chicago because it's like an hour to this show place near, actually it is literally called Show Place, and there's a lot of Chicago people that go there and we like don't associate with them because we're just like hillbillies, said with quotation marks, who conveniently jump horses, or you guys are like prim and proper and all those things. So that's also why I do jumpers, because my horse and I are not meant to be like all buttoned up and looking super nice. We just go really fast and jump big sticks and call it good.
I like to go really fast and sometimes run into 55-gallon metal drums. It's fine. My leg still is hurting from multiple weeks ago.
Yeah. I was saying how it would be super fun to combine jumpers and barrels because I think my horse would be good at doing barrels too, but I just only ride ever in like an English saddle and stuff. But if we could do somehow a combination, which I guess like jumpers are kind of like because you have to turn and stuff, but
Yep. Yeah, I think there's some gymkhana classes that you have to like jump and turn stuff.
yeah.
My barrel horse can in fact jump things, just not like fancy jumps in an arena.
Yeah.
Like we're out on the trail and stuff. We can go over a little log or something.
Oh, I love that.
Jumping high is not for me. I like to just run fast.
Yeah.
Try to keep my legs out of the way. So
my horse is 18 and she literally acts like she's still 5, so we're still like jumping some big stuff, which is great. But to answer your question of how I got into horses, I started riding when I was in 4th grade. I had this old horse, his name was Duffy, and he would only canter on one lead, was just an old guy. I took him to the county fair, did absolutely terrible because he was not a show horse at all. He actually used to do eventing, and so, or not eventing, cross country, and so you just run and you go and you don't have to worry about leads, you don't have to worry about looking nice and all that stuff. And so I rode him for a while, and then I started riding at the place that I ride at now. It's like a half hour from my house, and we decided to buy a horse at that point. And actually, so the horse that I have now is the horse that we bought then, so I've had her since she was 4. And she was drugged when we got her.
nice.
So
Those are always fun.
So that's fun. Yeah, she was acted really, really great when we tried her, and then we brought her back, and she was psychotic, and we were like, oh, "This is nice."
Super.
And so we struggled for a really long time with her. She also would not like. Even to this day, she does like she'll do a lead change when she wants to, not when you ask her to.
It's also because she's a she.
Yeah, she is a mare. Yeah, she's quite something. She bullies the geldings and all that stuff. And that's really funny. But we have video on like the security camera of her just like sprinting full speed around the arena while I'm clinging on to her, trying to not fall off. At one point my girth broke and I like went flying into the wall. One time she reared up straight in the air and I jumped out of the saddle and I somehow landed on my feet, like stuck it like a gymnast. And so we battled with her for a really long time. So really good character building. And then finally, I think it was like we battled with her for like stupid long. And then finally, I think it was before I was about to go to college, we were like, let's just sell her. Like this we're done with it. So we went to go make a sale video for her. And when we were filming the sale video, she was really, really good. Then we took her to the show, and instead of putting her in a like hunter class, we put her in jumpers. Perfect. She did flawless. amazing. So we're like, maybe we shouldn't sell her. And she's been perfect ever since.
She just needed to find her calling.
Yes.
Hunters was not her calling.
Yeah, and in hindsight, like knowing my personality and then knowing her, I don't know why we tried to force the hunters for so long, because it's definitely not her calling, but
yes. It's like that forcing quote that we're not going to go down that path, but you got to force it. It's crap.
Yep.
That's funny. And, you know, I can't believe that you drive 30 minutes to go ride and everything. You haven't found a spot at the farm yet?
Well, it's hard because I want, like, her job is jumping, like, truly, like, that's what she loves to do. And, like, I have a really nice arena that we ride in. I've pretty much, like, I've grown up out there. My riding instructor has a daughter who is now 19 that I've known her since she was 3 years old and wouldn't stop asking why all the time. And it's definitely like my second family out there. And I think if she ever retires or if we ever stop jumping, I'd find a way to bring her here, but it just works out better to have her there.
Yeah, definitely. So back to a couple more rapid fire questions before we wrap this up. Are you introvert or extrovert?
Depending on the situation, I think I would say I'm an introverted extrovert. There's a lot of times where I'm very extroverted, but I also need my time where I'm alone and where I like have the ability to rest and not use my like mental and physical energy of being outgoing and out there. But I would also say, like, as my frontal lobe has developed and as I've gotten older, I've become a little bit more introverted, but I'm still very extroverted depending on the scenario and where I am and who I'm with.
Yeah, I can relate with that. Sweet or savory?
Sweet. I love a sweet treat.
Cotton candy ice cream, to say,
yes,
put it out there. What's your favorite holiday tradition?
Oh, so this holiday tradition we don't really do anymore, but for our 4th of July, so the town that we live in, there's like a few, I would say, like satellite towns related to it that's literally like a cluster of houses and a church, pretty much. And one of them would always have a 4th of July parade. And so we would drive the side-by-sides out there, sit along the street and watch the small town parade go through. And it's like they have a chicken dinner and everything afterwards. And then during 2020, they stopped it that year. And then they never restarted that in that small town. They moved it to a different location. And the second location is just not as good, in my opinion. And the parade has gotten smaller and stuff. And so my favorite holiday tradition was going out there, and then we'd come back and swim in our pond and stuff. But it's just not the same anymore.
Yeah, it stinks when things do that. And always, I think also, like, you get that, like, it sets the expectations so high, and then when things change and they're different, and then you're just like, it's a big letdown. So do you do any traveling, or are you pretty much a homebody?
I love to travel. Hard, obviously, as a farmer to travel. So every year we go to Louisville for the National Farm Machinery Show. And so that kind of takes like a week out of our time. And then, like I said earlier, Avery's grandparents have a house in Florida. So we go and visit them. I would love to go, like, to have another week that we can go travel somewhere else, somewhere new. We haven't really done that, but it's a goal of mine to be able to do that again, because like growing up with my parents, like we would travel and go see new places each year, and I really like that.
Yeah. So if someone, you know, if you were able to get the time and, you know, you were going to your dream spot, where would you go? Pictures I see on social media.
Yeah. I really wanted to do post-college, but I graduated in 2020, so that's obviously couldn't travel. Then I had wanted to go and do a trip to Europe and go to Greece and Italy. So it's still like a bucket list of mine to be able to do that. The really hard part about that is the best time to go is during the summer, and we are obviously very, very
so busy
during the summer. So that's hard. I really want to go to Australia and New Zealand. And then I think going to like Thailand or some Asian countries would be really cool too.
So you've got lots of bucket list places to visit.
Yeah. And then I want to go to Europe and go to France and go to the countryside and check out the small dairies there and
all the different things.
Cheese.
That's what I was just gonna say. Eat all the cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the cheese. That's, you can go on like the worldwide cheese tour.
Yes, that would be fun.
go find the best cheese out there. Awesome. So I love to ask a more deeper thought question that was left by a previous guest. And yours, just trying to find a good one for you. I try to find one that, will obviously apply to you. Your question is, if it was your 90th birthday and your loved ones made a movie about your life as a gift, what do you hope is shown in it?
I hope that's shown is that I said yes to opportunities and that I tried to make a fun life, and which is very vague to say, but I think I would hope that it shows that I didn't take life too seriously, but I was still able to also make an impact too, maybe. I think something that I've always encouraged myself to do is to say yes to something. One of my favorite quotes is, "You don't know if you don't try." And so I think I would hope that it would show that I tried different things and found what truly ticks for me and what makes me happy.
Awesome. And what actress do you hope would play you?
See, I don't know a lot of actresses because every time I try and watch a movie, I fall asleep within 10 minutes. So I don't even know who like the main actresses are now.
I don't know. So it's just kind of a question. She's not yet born because she's going to look like she's 50 when I'm 90.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know.
Because I'm going to look that good. That's what you say. I'm going to look so good, they're going to need to hire someone that's not born yet to play me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I can't even name an actress off the top of my head right now that, like, whoever plays Meredith Grey, what's her name? Ellen Pompeo. That's like the only actress I can think of.
Okay, I couldn't even name her. Gosh, I love it. And do you have a quote for us today?
Yes. Well, I have several. I have the one that I just said, which is, "You don't know if you don't try," which is my like favorite everyday quote to say, because literally, like, you don't know if you don't give something a try. Like, I think sometimes, like, for example, I say this to Avery a lot when we're talking about different things where we like need to ask somebody for something, and I'm like, you don't know what they're gonna say, you don't know what they're gonna respond if you don't try asking them, or you don't know if something will work if you don't try. So I like that quote. The other one that I really enjoy is, I learned it in FFA when I was at the Washington Leadership Conference, and it's, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." And I think it's a quote from some president. I don't know which president it was. I just know that that's where I learned it. And I think for me, that really means just like doing your best with what you have at hand, and kind of adding my other quote onto it is like, you don't know what's going to happen from there. And you just have to, you have your resources at hand and you have to give it a try and do what you can with what you have. And then my other quote that I love is the golden rule. So, which I guess it's not really a quote, but the golden rule of being kind and respectful to other people.
Yes, I think that that's so important also because, it's just, and I try to instill this in my kids, like, treat others the way that you want to be treated. You need to treat them with respect. You need to treat them well. Otherwise, don't be surprised when it turns
They
on
don't. Yeah. And the reason why it's my favorite kind of thing to live by is, which we probably should have discussed this like earlier in the podcast, but I feel like it's something I see a lot in agriculture and I don't want to talk poorly about people in agriculture, but oftentimes we demand respect from other people, but we in turn don't give it back to people that are different than us. And I think it's really frustrating to see, as somebody who, I wasn't born into agriculture, but I found my way here because people gave me kindness. But if we're gonna now turn around and treat other people poorly, treat them with disrespect, but then on the other hand be like, "But you need to respect me," how is that fair to anyone? It's not.
Yeah, 100%. I think, and I've mentioned this on here multiple times, as far as, how ag is a just shrinking sector. There's not nearly the people involved in ag that there once was. And I think that it's important that we give everyone an opportunity to be a part of agriculture and not push people away that, weren't born on a farm, et cetera, because especially with the amount of farms that exited the business, between the 80s and the 90s, that's a whole generation that just really disappeared. And I think that it's so important that we, as an industry, make sure that we're welcoming new people into our industry, letting them be a part of it, helping them if they need it, because not everyone is lucky enough to have been born on a farm. And I think that that's so important. And I think that that's something that through all different types of agriculture, not just dairy farming, I think it's so important that we keep an open mind and welcome people in.
Yeah, for example, I saw on TikTok a girl, I would say she looked like she was yeah, like maybe 20, 22 years old, like that age. And it was a video of her in the tractor, and like it was just like B-roll and some music. And the caption that she wrote on it was like, spending all my day doing this just for a bunch of ungrateful FUCKS people. And I was just like, I commented on it. I was like, yes, and this is going to make people be grateful for you. Like,
Yeah.
no, you can't. I've been thinking about like what's the best way to make content around it, because it really frustrates me to see it, because again, like I said, how can we as agriculturalists and farmers expect people to respect us if we turn around and are blatantly rude to them?
Yes. And there's a couple, I mean, and there is, there are people out there that don't respect farmers, but
Mhm.
they're the ones that make all the noise. It's the ones that do respect farmers that are not out there making the noise. They're just thankful that they have food to eat and thankful that there are farmers out doing that. But I think that instead of reacting to those that are negative about it, I think that we need to focus on those that are positive
Mhm.
about it or those that just are unsure about it.
Yeah, there's definitely that movable middle. And I think about them when I'm the one, like when I'm creating content. So, say you're a part of that movable middle and you see a post from somebody saying, like, farmers are so terrible, blah, blah, blah. And then you also see that same post that says that's a farmer saying that everyone's ungrateful for them.
Yeah.
Who are you going to then choose to follow? You're going to choose the person that's saying the bad things about the farmer because the farmer is just saying a bad thing about you.
Yes, 100%.
So
And I
not to
think,
end it on like a Debbie Downer-ish, but
no,
it's just something that I think, I don't know. It's something that I've noticed more and more of. And I see it a lot in like the young generation my age or younger, and it drives me nuts. It really
yes.
does.
And I think a lot of, I mean, I don't know 100%, but I think a lot of that is just how they've grown up just with screens and being able to kind of say whatever they want without
Yeah.
any repercussions because they don't have to say it to someone's face.
Yep.
I think that that's got a huge, yeah. They've never had to walk up to someone and tell them something rude to their face and see what
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah,
Fiddle
I
around
agree
and
with that.
find out, as they say.
Yep.
So awesome. It was so much fun talking to you, Emily. Where can people follow along with your journey if you want to take a second to plug all the things?
My Instagram and TikTok are my name. So Emily Matzke, it's spelled Matzke. I think in a few months I'll change it to my future last name, so that might change in a little bit. But for
Follow her
now
now,
it's
don't wait.
yeah, for now it's that. And then our YouTube is New Age Custom Farming. So I would say we definitely share a lot more farming. My pages I share more lifestyle slash farming. Our YouTube channel is more just full on farming, tractor pulling, stuff like that. And then on Facebook it's Elsing Family Pulling Team. So that was started by my soon to be brother-in-law, and I just haven't changed the names. That's the farming stuff, and then my name stuff is me.
Awesome. And I'll be sure to link those in the show notes. Emily, thank you so much for joining me today. We really appreciate it. If you guys loved this episode, please be sure to screenshot it, share with a friend, tag us, and do all the things. And with that, we will talk to you all next week. Bye.